Well, we're here on a gloomy day in Northeast Ohio, and it is in the winter at the time that we're shooting this. And this is our son's 88 Ford Econoline. It's a club wagon, and we pretty much outfitted this. As you may be able to see up there, we have a vent and quite a few other things inside for him to be a van dweller. And one of the things we did, or wanted to make sure we had, was some way for him to keep food. This is looking inside his van here. It's very messy. He got back from the sugar beet harvest and he hasn't really cleaned up, and he's still got a lot of his gear in here. However, the one thing I want to draw your attention to is this big monstrosity. Now in his case, he needed something, of course, to keep his food cool, and that's what I'm talking about, is a refrigerator. Now, I did a review on this refrigerator and it's worked flawlessly for him. One of the best features I like with this one is, of course it's running 12 volt, and also if he's plugged in somewhere, it will power that way. The AC overrides the 12 volts, so he doesn't have to worry about plugging and unplugging unless he wants to make sure that it's not drawing off the batteries, which there's some settings in there that will take care of it. Now, once we saw this refrigerator, in this case, this is a 45 quart. It can be either a freezer or a refrigerator. It can't be both. And Heidi thought it would be a really good idea for us to have some extra storage capability for ourselves if we were out traveling and we needed some place to store food. What I want to direct your attention to is our large built-in refrigerator that comes with the RV. Now this, of course, has a separate refrigerator compartment from the freezer. And this runs on either AC power when we're plugged in, or it runs on propane. It all depends what we have it set up for. And running on propane when you're driving down the road, and sometimes we drive for 6, 7, 8 hours at a time, is not a good idea. You shouldn't have your propane running. There's people that do it, but we don't. Now the refrigerator, if it's packed full of food, will keep that food cold during your trip. But we decided that we may want to have an additional freezer if we were out and about. The whole problem that we would have with this one is this is good for the immediate stuff that we may want to carry along with us as we travel. And again, this is for like full-time RVing. But it's not going to work if I find, wings on sale and we get 6 bags of wings and we try to put it in there with everything else. It just doesn't work. So that's why we got this other freezer. So let's go talk about that. ICECO VL60. It's huge. I mean, it's pretty healthy here. It's over 70 pounds, the configuration that you see it, and they shipped it to me in this manner, UPS, and you can see that thing is really wrapped up well. I mean, it's almost bulletproof. This is all heavy-duty foam packaging. They have these hard pieces here where some, strapping could potentially cause it to split the foam, so it's protected really well. This is the wrapping off, and I see this is something that way. Oh, nice. So you can see once off the box, out of the packaging, this is what it looks like. Now, because I have, a newer truck, I think that the height, if you was to have a tonneau cover, wouldn't be an issue. I know my older truck, it would have been real close. It would have been very, very close to this height with that old body style Ford that I had. However, we're kind of planning on maybe keeping it in the RV. Now, I have quite a bit of cargo carrying capability with this RV, roughly 2,000 pounds. So we do have some room in the front cargo area that we could accommodate for this. Even in the back where the chairs are, even with the slide in, we have some room. But there's also some thought, at least Heidi's talking about it, since I do have 12 volt power in the back of this truck, and the truck does have a 240 amp alternator, that I could put this in the back and not have an issue with it, and we could just access the food as we need it. As far as the control panel, very straightforward, very simple. It's user friendly. And then of course you have your power ports, 12 volt or household current. You have spring-loaded latches, and the best part about this one, it has what they call a Danfoss style compressor that's inside, and they're known for durability, and they're known for low power usage. So if you have a van and you're putting this in your van, of course you're going to make your van build around this. I'm going to tell you that my son could have just easily had this one in his van, as he does that 45 quart, but it's just him and he don't need much more than that. But he did have a definite need that he wanted to go with freezer and refrigerator separate compartments, which he don't have. Now if you look here, some of the nice things that it has is this basket, which is removable. If you want to load up everything in this and keep it at your house, you know, to where if you're going on a camping trip, you can take everything out of your refrigerator, you can throw it in the basket and then lower it in and be ready to go. But it also has a couple little lights. I mean, this is a refrigerator freezer. As far as its size, you can get an idea. VL60 means 60 quarts, which is about 2 cubic feet, which isn't too bad. As far as the size, you can see it's going to be divided up here by this wall. It's all insulated. It's so thick. I mean, you can see where I'm pinching here. I think that there's a lot more insulation in here than meets the eye. Let's go ahead and open this up so I can talk about that. See, we've got some quick instructions here, but I want to tell you about something that I have not read in the instructions as far as this quick set. And that's something that you got to be aware of whenever you're getting stuff delivered. Even though this has a arrow pointing up on the box, and even though it says fragile on it, and it also says no inverted on the box, there's a chance that they may transport this to you on its side, or even upside down, or on its back. If you get your freezer in the mail, let it sit. Just let it sit. You know, to be safe, I always say 24 hours. I think you only have to wait about 6 hours to be really safe, you know, and conservative. But I'm going to say 24 hours because there's no doubt about it. You know, at that point, all the refrigerant has gotten back to where it needs to go, and you're not going to burn up the compressor. Now, as far as what they're telling you to do here, look first before use. It's saying you can plug it in either or, and then step 2, it'll, you know, flash, show the power connected. Press 3, long press on off for the button, 5 seconds to turn it on. And then press step 4, press up or down to set the temperature up or down. And then as far as the min mode to max, that's going to allow you to make some settings so you don't have any issues with this if you are using a 12 volt power consumption. So for right now, I don't have it plugged into the AC. I just have it plugged into our old jumper pack, which I've had for so many years. I can't believe the battery still works. But once you plug it in to the 12 volt power, like I said, this isn't plugged in, you just hold this for 5 seconds and you can set the temperature for the left side and the right side. And I want to show you in here. Of course, you got a couple of little lights, that's nice. And when the doors are closed, we don't know what happens in there, do we? Is the light still on? So the other thing you can do at this point is set your minimum and maximum as far as your battery goes, so it protects the battery. That's a function that our sons had, and I loved it. You can see that the voltage right now showing 11.9, and I think that that's going to be something that we're going to have to play around with. Because we only have the 2 deep cycle batteries on the front of the RV right now, and I don't know how that's going to affect those with using other stuff inside the RV. Now inside the truck here, of course, we're going to be utilizing the truck enough that I'm sure it should keep the battery charged up. Since it's on battery, I'm going to go ahead and put it on AC, and yes, it does just like my son's, and it automatically overrides. And you can see it flashed off. It's coming back on, and now max volt 25.6 volts. It's running the compressor. I don't know if you can hear it, just fine. And again, if I lose voltage, if there was some way that I lost voltage from the AC side of things, or if it's time for us to leave the campground, once we unplug the RV, it starts running on battery automatically. Now that'll allow us to transport and go down the road with little to no issue. Best part about this is these heavy duty caps and this protection that makes it look like some sort of army piece. Again, big steel spring loaded handles. I'm going to tell you though, You can't just put this out in the Arizona sun. You can't just put this out on your porch and not worry about it. This isn't made to sit out in the rain. It's not made to sit out in the snow. This is something that you've got to protect just like you would a cooler. Now, of course, you can put your coolers outside and they can get rained on, but your coolers also don't have exposed electrical either. That's just not a good idea. So is this going to be something that you need? It's going to be hard to say. It's going to be something that if you're finding your refrigerator freezer to be a little bit too small in your RV, then this might be an option. For our situation, we're thinking that we want to be able to carry more food with us. We are meat eaters. We're not vegetarians. Not yet, maybe one day. And you have to have cooling. You have to have freezing for that. Not only that, I love ice cream, so that's a good place to keep it, that I don't have to worry about it being up inside the RV, you know, that unit. Again, when you travel, your freezer that's in the unit, your RV, whether it be a motorhome or travel trailer or fifth wheel, you know, that's going to start getting warm as you drive, because you're not supposed to have your propane on and running it. Now, if you have a 12-volt system, you could be running off the battery, and that's not a problem. But that's what this is. That's the 12-volt side of things. Now, the best part about the company, there's a number you can call. There's an email that you can send an email. There's actually customer service. And what happens if I break a latch? What happens if I break something on here? As long as it's not abused, as long as you didn't cause the problem, it just happened, they have a 1-year warranty on the entire unit. If you break something after that 1 year, I'm sure you could buy the component needed. But the most important thing, the most costly thing, that Danfrost style compressor, 5-year warranty on that. So if you have a problem with your compressor, 5 years, that's a good warranty. That's not bad at all. Now, ICECO has some other refrigerator freezers if you want to check them out. Again, the links will be down below. Click the link. It'll take care of all the description as far as the size of the unit and the, you know, the milliliters and how many cans you can put in there and stuff like that. The link, that's something that you need to get there. So down below is that. Also, the link for purchasing any of these products, maybe with a discount code. I really like the idea of having all this extra storage for food, and it's running on 12 volts, so I don't have to worry about turning on the propane as soon as I get somewhere to get the refrigerator started, or hurry up and plug it in when I get home so everything stays cool. That covers everything. As always, I hope to see you out there. Bye.